it's Groundhog's Day. What are we supposed to say different? They lost again. What are we supposed to say different?
It's the same thing. You could repeat yesterday's show because it's the same, and it's a myriad of problems, Michael. I mean, listen, if you want to say good job out of Rodon after the first inning, he kept things at bay, allowed the Yankees to kind of edge back into the. No, you can't give your starting pitcher a 1-0 lead and then hand it right back before you record an out. And I'm supposed to applaud you for your performance?
No.
You didn't give them much of a chance to win. You know you're not a great offensive team, Michael. You know you can't spot the other team 4 runs in the first inning and expect to win the game.
And then, the thing that aggravated me after the fact was, Rodon, who's trying, says, you know what, I keep going at the hitters with fastballs and they're sitting on I've got to have a greater mix. Carlos Rodon has been terrible in the first inning all year. Why are we coming to that conclusion after the game on July 9th?
Right, exactly.
Because when he started mixing in his other pitches, you know what happened? He didn't give up a run. The guy has good enough stuff to be good, to at times be dominant. And for him to get slapped around like this, and then you come to this epiphany, well, I can't just keep funneling fastballs in there. They're going to turn on it. Well, yeah. Your ERA in the first inning is over 10. It's over 10. I pulled some numbers that are very, very telling. So if you guys will allow me, this is the Pinstripe Report, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. In the first 70 games of the season, they were 49-21. So that's the best in baseball. Mm-hmm. Last 23 games are 6-17, the worst in baseball since June 13th. So it's coming on a month now. First inning runs, first 70 games, they allowed 22 first inning runs combined, first 70 games. Wow. Last 23, they've allowed 22 first inning runs, the most in baseball.
Holy crap.
I mean, literally making it, Michael, it's borderline impossible to win when you're giving up first inning runs.
Especially when your offense is this anemic now. So, I mean, your offense is putting pressure on itself to score the way it is. But now if you're behind in the first inning, it changes the whole paradigm. All right, runs allowed per game. First 70 games, they allowed 3.26 runs per game. That's great. Tied for third in baseball. In the last 23, you know how many you think they've allowed per game?
God.
So 3.26 for the 70 games.
Probably, it's got to be somewhere in the 5s.
You're being nice. 6.09.
Oh, wow.
The only team that's worse is Colorado. And Colorado stinks.
Yeah, they're one of the worst teams in baseball.
Rotation ERA. First 70 games, 2.79. Outstanding. Last 23 games, 6.53. And the bullpen. First 70 games, 3.05. Last 23 games, 4.97. So what I'm trying to say with all this, we keep saying, well, they've got to get an arm in the bullpen. No, it's everything. It's not one thing. That's what concerns me. If it was just a bullpen faltering, I'd go, okay, go out and make a big deal and get a bullpen arm. Maybe when Scott Efros comes back, that corrects things. It's every facet of the game. Every facet of the game. The starting pitching has gone south. The bullpen has gone south. And the offense has gone south. Now, I know removing Stanton was a big deal, but it's more than Stanton because DJ LeMahieu has not hit, although he has hit the last 3 games. He has not hit. Alex Verdugo stopped hitting. Gleyber Torres has been dreadful. And Anthony Volpe, his average has gone from 290 in about a month to 249. So you can't replace all those people. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not quite sure how they snap out of it. You could keep saying, I always use this analogy for all the years we've been on the air. It's like telling the overweight kid, you got to climb the rope in gym. Well, I can't. Well, you got to. Yeah, I can't. Now, speaking from experience, I couldn't. I could not climb that rope. No matter how the gym teacher said, you got to climb the rope, I couldn't climb it. So you can tell the Yankees, you got to win these games. How are they going to do it? Now, yeah, what Don said yesterday and Pete said yesterday, they got to clean up their act a little bit because you can't give away outs, and you can't give away outs on the bases, and you can't be sloppy. I get that. But even if they play crisp, clean baseball, if you don't hit and you don't pitch, and they haven't had a stolen base in 21 games, which is the longest streak since 1961-62 between those two seasons, Done. Peter, well, how you winning games?
Well, you're not. But you got to figure out, all right, so what happened? Like you said, they were the best team in baseball.
By far.
Six weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now they're the worst team in baseball. Well, what happened?
It's not even 6 weeks ago. It's just 23 games ago. Think about that.
Since that Red Sox series.
Right. So it's about a little under a month.
So you all right, what happened? Because Judge wasn't hitting in the beginning of the season, but certainly Soto was and Verdugo was, and they were getting lights out starting pitch.
And you were getting great performance by Anthony Volpe.
And I hate to play this game because it's baseball season, but take a look at their April schedule. You open up against Arizona, the defending National League champions, Michael.
No, you open up against Houston. And then Arizona.
Right, because that's right, because it started in March.
Right.
You started out against Houston, a team you never can beat. You swept them. And you're like, oh, wow, well, look at the Astros. All right, they're coming on now. But for most of the beginning of the season, Michael, they were an under 500 team. You caught them at the right time. Then you start April, 3 games in Arizona against the defending National League champions. Well, Arizona right now is like with the Mets, around 500, battling for a wild card spot. Then the Blue Jays. Blue Jays stink. Marlins are one of the worst teams in baseball. And then you took on the Guardians, who you've always owned, and the Central Division. You played 18 games against the Central Division, Michael, and you own the Central Division. And then you had the 4 games against the A's. So is it possible, Michael, that there were warts, but they just had an easier schedule? They were able to navigate it. Everybody was really popping. Then the schedule got a little tougher. Verdugo came back to normal. Heel came back to normal. And then you lose Stanton. That there's a lot of things to contribute to it, Michael, but obviously looking at the beginning of the season, it's looking more and more like a mirage. That if you're hoping they're going to get back to what they were in April and May, I think that ship sailed. Now it's just damage control, trying to find out if you're better than you've been the last 23 games. But to think that they're going to become the best team in baseball again, Michael, I don't see it.
I mean, if they keep performing like this and the 4 guys I talked about in the lineup that are regulars, if they don't hit, then it's going to be problematic. Now, you bring up an interesting point about the schedule, but you just dismiss the Guardians because they always beat them. Yeah, okay, but the Guardians have the best record in baseball.
No, I get it. I don't want to take anything away. And they did take 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee, which is a pretty good baseball team. But, Michael, you look at the Central and the history. Right now, I was hearing it this morning. I forget the exact, I think since late April, I think April 26th, the best team in Major League Baseball, the Minnesota Twins.
Yep.
I don't care. Right now, if the Minnesota Twins came to Yankee Stadium, the Yankees would beat them. The Twins cannot beat the Yankees on a bet. For whatever reason, that Central Division, Michael, is just something that I get it. The Guardians are the best team in baseball, but the Yankees always seem to beat the Guardians no matter how good they are. They always seem to beat the Twins no matter how good they are. It's great. When they beat the Royals, Michael, the Royals were 12 games above 500 and still took 3 out of 4 in that series. But you take a look at what the Yankees, how are they playing in their own division, Michael? What is it now, 13 and 18?
No, they're 13 and 17. That's the 22nd worst record of a team in a division. And then against everybody else, they're 42 and 21, which is the first in baseball. So, listen.
Right, but honestly, outside of the National League teams that they played, but the Central and the West, those divisions stink, Michael.
They are not good, and the Yankees have always handled them well.
Right, and the West, obviously, Oakland's awful. The Angels are terrible. Texas is really struggling.
And they caught Houston at the right time.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, again, I scratched my head, and I was on a podcast today with Joel Sherman and John Heyman, and they're asking. I don't have answers. I don't think the Yankees have answers right now because look at the things that have gone wrong. Rodon started off like he was going to be in the All-Star team. The Yankees are 0-5 in his last 5 starts. Marcus Stroman was great. All of a sudden, he's losing velocity off his fastball. He has come down to earth. Clark Schmidt got hurt. Luis Seal looked like he's going to start the All-Star game for the American League. He's come down to earth, although I thought he pitched very well against the Red Sox. Garrett Cole still finding his way. He's not close to prime Garrett Cole. And on and on and on we go. The bullpen. Jonathan Loáisiga getting hurt. Killer. Absolute killer. He's supposed to be their 8th inning guy. So they've got guys in that bullpen. You go, really? And their closer, Clay Holmes, has also come down to earth. And then there's the offense. And the scary part about the offense, guys, and I said this yesterday, and it only serves to repeat it, Juan Soto in his last 19 games is 11 for 63. That's 175. But his on-base percentage is 395 because he continues to walk. So he's still a factor, but he's not doing damage. Judge, last 6 games, no extra base hits, no RBIs. 3 hits and 23 at-bats. So it's like if you lose Cronkite, you lose in the country. If you lose Soto and Judge, game's over. You're not going to beat anybody. You can't score runs. I mean, they made it close yesterday because Ben Rice hit another home run.
Yeah, but the Canely coming in, giving up that run, Michael, killed.
Humongous.
That changed the complexion of the 9th inning completely.
And they're not hitting in any luck because Soto just crushed that ball.
Oh, I thought it was gone off the bat.
And he crushed it to the deepest part of the park, and Siri ran it down. So even if it wasn't a home run, Judge comes up after that. But their margin of error is so small. And, there's a lot of pressure on Marcus Stroman tonight.
The thing that's scary is what you describe roster-wise. Once everybody came back down to earth, it's just not a very good baseball team. It's a team with a couple of good players, an injured stud pitcher. I mean, do you remember what we thought? The conversations that we had about Marcus Stroman and his role on this team before the season started was, oh my God, we thought this team was going to be great. Is Marcus Stroman going to be the number 2 on this team? The guy who couldn't go get the money that he thought he could get because he's losing something, and statistics have shown that Marcus Stroman's lost a little bit. All of a sudden, oh no, Stroman's great. He's holding it down. They're going to be just fine. I mean, Michael, it just feels like reality's come, and this team is what it is, and that is Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and an injured Garrett Cole.
And you know what? It's funny because in basketball, a big 3 is enough. In baseball, it's not.
No. That's the Angels.
But
right? Those great players.
All the rings they've had.
I don't know, though. Are they closer to the team that played the first 70 games, or are they closer to this? I still lean toward they're closer to that team, but not if they don't correct what's going wrong.
But not that team. They might be closer to the team that started, but they're not that good. So if the answer's somewhere in the middle, you're a playoff team, and maybe you could win the division.
See, that to me is the biggest fear. Everybody say, well, they'll make the playoffs, and then it's a crapshoot. Well, wait a minute. You sure they're making the playoffs if they keep playing this way? The Red Sox are now 2 games back in the loss column. The Yankees are 4 games back of Baltimore, and they play 3 games against the Orioles in Baltimore this weekend. All right, so the Red Sox could pass them. Now you got the Guardians leading the Central, and as Don said, one of the hottest teams in baseball is the Twins. They might have enough to actually move ahead. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Astros and you got the Seattle Mariners. So somebody's going to get squeezed out of that, musical chairs there. If the Yankees keep playing at a 6-17 rate, you know what? It's going to be them.
And also, Michael, even if you make the playoffs, if you're not the first wild card, then that's 3 games on the road.
Yep.
It's not that's not an ideal way of being able to advance to the next round.
And I'm not being a hater here. The Yankees, I believe, are better than the Red Sox. But the Red Sox seem like they're built more for 2024 baseball because they're really fast and they take advantage on the bases. The Yankees are not fast.
And I don't think there's a ton of pressure on the Red Sox.
No, they're not supposed to win.
They're not supposed to win. So this is all just gravy. I don't think the Boston media is beating up on them now. Everything that they do is gold because they weren't expected to do anything.
I'm also leaving out the Royals, guys.
Yeah.
And the Rangers and the Rays. So, I mean, there's about 70-some-odd games remaining. So if you don't straighten it out, all your dreams are gone. Forget about winning the American League East. All your dreams could be gone. And I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm not the GM. I wonder if Brian knows what to do. The dam has sprung so many leaks. You can only plug so many. And then you have to make that tough decision. Are you trading Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez to get that needle mover? And the reason why that's even in play, guys, this is the 1 year that you for sure have Juan Soto. The 1 year. Now, you hope that you have him for 15 years after this, but this is the 1 year that you're certain that somebody's not going to blow him out of the water with a contract that you're not willing to match. So you can't waste this year.
And a caller brought it up to us last week, I think it was, Michael, and I wasn't going to hear any Soto hate because he's the least of their problems with everything that's going on right now. But I started to pay a little closer attention to it after he said it, and I wonder if it's a thing. When do these walks become a little irritating with Juan? Like, maybe once in a while, would it kill you to maybe swing at that pitch on the corner? and drive it. Like, maybe I don't necessarily need a walk here. Like, can you expand a little bit and maybe use that power to get us a base hit?
Well, I think we might be seeing that, Don, because he in the last 5 or 6 games, he swung at the first pitch more than I've seen him do all year. So he's probably expanding the zone. I mean, there's a pressure on everybody.
Because, listen, I'm not going to walk's great, Michael, but you know what I mean. Like, you watch him every single day. The guy's like a savant. Like, he's Wade Boggs. He spits on any pitch that's not a strike. He's like avant-garde with it. He's looking at a painting a different way than anybody else looks at it. Great, but you know what? When I sometimes I need a hit. All right, sometimes a walk is doing the other team a favor. Even with Judge coming up next, I'm not going to pitch to him either. You know, I'll get in a situation, I'll pitch around him, and then I'll take my chances after you two, because who else is going to get you a big hit?
Yeah, it's tough times right now. It's tough times. You could say whatever you want and try to, you know, one thing that I have not accepted these last couple of days, well, it's no time to panic. Well, okay, panic, one thing. It's time to worry. If you're not concerned, then your head's in the sand. Sorry. I mean, I'm watching them every single play, every single game. It's time to be concerned. This is a long stretch. 23 games is an eighth of the season, more than an eighth of the season. And you're the worst team in baseball over that time. Again, worse than the A's, worse than the Rockies. And I wish I had answers. I know sports talk is supposed to have answers, you know, spout nonsense. I don't know. They better start hitting. They better start pitching better. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you blame Aaron Boone for that. I don't know what they're supposed to do. Right now, they're not a good enough team.
Well, the reason why I think there has to be concern, because it gets early gets late pretty quick. You're already 93 games into the season. It felt like it just started.
Yep.
You know, so 10 games go by in the blink of an eye. Not this week because of the All-Star break, but you know what I mean? Like, if you don't do something now, the next thing you know, the deadline's here, and then you got to do something. And then after the deadline, what do? Like, so it comes up quick. I mean, it's hard to believe 93 games into the season, we're more than halfway. Way more than halfway. So it goes really fast. So why wouldn't you be? This has gone on for a while now, Michael. As you said, 23 games. That's enough of a sample size.
If you started the season at 6-17, you'd be wetting your pants, worrying. But the Yankees did build up some equity and they had some cushion, but they're wasting their cushion now. They just are.